What if I told you that the first 5 minutes of your morning hold the power to transform not just your day, but your entire life? Imagine waking up not to the harsh sound of an alarm, but to a gentle awakening of consciousness. Picture yourself rising not with anxiety about the day ahead, but with a deep sense of inner peace that radiates from within. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the ancient wisdom of Buddhist teachings, practiced for over 2,500 years, now validated by modern neuroscience. Today, we'll explore 5 powerful affirmations rooted in Buddhist philosophy that can transform your daily routine. But first, let me share with you a story that changed everything. Part 1: The Monk's Dawn Revelation, Embracing the Present Moment. In the misty mountains of ancient Tibet, there lived a young monk named Tenzin. Every morning, he would rush from his meditation cushion, his mind already racing with the day's duties, scriptures to study, gardens to tend, visitors to receive. Despite years of training, he found himself constantly anxious, always one step behind his racing thoughts. One dawn, his elderly teacher, Lama Sonam, asked him a simple question: "Tenzin, where are you right now?" "I'm here with you, teacher," Tenzin replied, confused. "No," the old master smiled gently. "Your body sits here, but your mind is already weeding the garden, greeting tomorrow's visitors, worrying about next week's teachings. You have forgotten the most precious gift, this very breath, this very moment." How often do we live like young Tenzin? We wake up and immediately our minds catapult into the future, checking phones, scanning emails, mentally rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. We miss the sacred threshold between sleep and wakefulness, that golden moment when our consciousness is most receptive to peace. Modern reflection: Sarah's smartphone prison. Let me paint you a picture that might feel familiar. Sarah, a marketing executive in London, used to wake up and immediately grab her phone. Before her feet touched the floor, she was already scrolling through notifications, emails, and social media updates. Her heart rate would spike as she read about deadlines, office politics, and global news. By 7 a.m., she was already exhausted, her nervous system flooded with stress hormones. Sound familiar? But here's what changed everything for Sarah, and what can change everything for you. The first powerful morning declaration: I am here, I am present, I am enough. When we begin our day by grounding ourselves in the present moment, we activate what Buddhist teachings call sati, mindful awareness. This isn't just spiritual philosophy. Neuroscience shows us that present moment awareness activates the prefrontal cortex, reducing activity in the amygdala, our brain's alarm system. The Buddha taught, the present moment is the only time over which we have dominion. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you mentally rehearse your to-do list, place your hand on your heart and speak these words: I am here, I am present, I am enough. Feel your breath. Notice the temperature of the air. Acknowledge the miracle that is your consciousness awakening to another day. This simple act transforms morning anxiety into morning grace. If this resonates with you, please subscribe to Buddha Coha for more transformational Buddhist wisdom. Your journey toward inner peace matters, and I'm honored to walk alongside you. Part 2: The Fortress Within, Mastering Internal Control Over Peace. Let me tell you about Master Chen, a Buddhist teacher in ancient China. His monastery sat at the crossroads of a busy trading route, where merchants, soldiers, and travelers would stop. Some days brought generous donations and grateful pilgrims. Other days brought bandits, demanding visitors, or devastating news from distant provinces. The younger monks noticed something remarkable. No matter what chaos swirled around the monastery, Master Chen remained unshakable. Not cold or disconnected, but radiating a deep, unassailable peace. One particularly challenging day, bandits had threatened the monastery, a violent storm had damaged the roof, and word came that war was approaching their region. A young monk approached Master Chen. "Teacher," he asked desperately, "how do you maintain such peace when everything around us is falling apart?" Master Chen smiled and pointed to a lotus flower floating serenely in the courtyard pond, even as rain pelted its petals and wind rocked the water around it. "Young one," he said, "the lotus doesn't ask the storm to be gentle. It doesn't blame the wind for its disturbance. It simply remains rooted in its own nature. External conditions change constantly, this is the law of impermanence. But our inner peace, that is our choice, our responsibility, our power." Modern reflection, the traffic jam transformation. Picture this: you're driving to an important meeting. Traffic comes to a complete standstill. The old you might grip the steering wheel, curse under your breath, feel your blood pressure rising, blame the traffic, the city planners, other drivers. But what if instead, you remembered Master Chen's teaching? What if you took a deep breath and said to yourself, "External circumstances cannot steal my peace unless I give them permission"? This shift, from victim to victor, from reactive to responsive, is the second powerful morning declaration. The second powerful morning declaration: my peace comes from within, and I choose how I respond. The Buddha taught us about the second arrow of suffering. The first arrow is life's inevitable challenges, traffic jams, difficult conversations, unexpected setbacks. We cannot always avoid these first arrows. But the second arrow, our reaction, our mental anguish, our story about how awful things are, this second arrow we shoot at ourselves. And this, we have complete control over. In the Buddhist text, the Dhammapada, we find these profound words: all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. When you declare each morning, "My peace comes from within, and I choose how I respond," you activate what psychologists call internal locus of control. You remind yourself that while you cannot control external events, you have absolute sovereignty over your internal response. This isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom, our power, our peace. Part 3, The Garden Within, Cultivating Self-Compassion and Inner Resources. There's a beautiful story from the life of Buddha himself. Before his enlightenment, when he was still Prince Siddhartha, he spent years practicing extreme asceticism, barely eating, sleeping on thorns, pushing his body to the brink of death, believing that suffering would lead to spiritual awakening. But one day, weak and exhausted, he heard a music teacher instructing a student about tuning a stringed instrument. If you tune the strings too tightly, they will snap. If you leave them too loose, they won't make music. The perfect sound comes from the middle way, not too tight, not too loose. In that moment, Siddhartha realized he had been treating himself with the same harshness he was trying to escape. He accepted a bowl of rice milk from a kind village girl and began to treat his body and mind with compassion. This moment of self-compassion opened the door to his enlightenment. Modern reflection, the inner critic's defeat. Think about your internal dialogue. If you spoke to a friend the way you speak to yourself in your mind, would that friendship survive? Most of us carry an inner critic that would make the harshest boss seem gentle. We wake up and immediately begin the day's mental assault. You're behind already. You should have done more yesterday. You're not smart enough, disciplined enough, good enough. But here's the revolutionary truth that Buddhist psychology teaches us. You already possess everything you need for peace, wisdom, and fulfillment. It's not hidden somewhere out there, in the next promotion, the perfect relationship, the ideal circumstances. It's here, within you, right now. The third powerful morning declaration: I have infinite wisdom, compassion, and strength within me. The Buddha taught that every being possesses Buddha nature, the inherent potential for awakening, wisdom, and boundless compassion. In Tibetan Buddhism, there's a beautiful phrase, Rigpa, the natural state of awareness that is our true essence. You don't need to earn this. You don't need to achieve this. You simply need to remember it, to uncover it beneath the layers of conditioning and self-doubt. When you begin each morning by acknowledging your inherent worth and inner resources, you stop looking outside yourself for validation, happiness, or peace. You recognize that the very consciousness reading these words right now is miraculous, precious, and complete. Modern neuroscience confirms what Buddhist masters have taught for millennia. Our brains have incredible neuroplasticity. We can literally rewire our neural pathways through consistent, compassionate self-talk. When we speak kindly to ourselves, we strengthen neural networks associated with confidence, resilience, and emotional regulation. The Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully expressed this truth. You carry Mother Earth within you. She is not outside of you. Mother Earth is not just your environment. In that insight of interbeing, it is possible to have real communication with the earth, which is the highest form of prayer. Just as you carry the earth within you, you carry infinite potential within you. If these teachings are touching your heart, please take a moment to subscribe to Buddha Coha and ring the notification bell. Your support helps spread this timeless wisdom to others who need it. Together, we create a community of awakening. Part 4: The Ripple Effect, Radiating Peace and Positive Influence. Let me share with you one final story that illustrates the transformative power of morning intention. In a small village in Myanmar, there lived an old woman named Da Maya. Every morning, before sunrise, she would sit by her window, place her palms together, and silently offer this intention: may my presence today bring peace to every person I encounter. The villagers began to notice something extraordinary. Da Maya seemed to have a magical effect on others. Angry customers would calm down in her presence. Crying children would find comfort near her. Even stray dogs seemed more peaceful around her simple home. Word of this peaceful grandmother spread to neighboring villages. People would travel just to spend a few moments in her presence. When asked about her secret, she would simply smile and say, "Every morning, I choose to be peaceful. Not to find peace, not to seek peace, but to be peace." One day, a skeptical young businessman visited her, convinced this was all superstition. He arrived angry about a failed deal, stressed about mounting debts, bitter about life's unfairness. But as he sat with Da Maya for just 10 minutes, something shifted. Her calm presence, her gentle smile, her way of listening without judgment, it was as if his agitation simply dissolved in the presence of such centered peace. "How do you do this?" he asked, amazed. "I don't do anything," she replied softly. "I simply remember each morning that peace is my true nature. When I remember this, others remember it too." Modern reflection, the office transformation. Imagine walking into your workplace tomorrow, not bracing for conflict, not dreading difficult colleagues, not mentally preparing for another stressful day, but carrying the intention to be a source of peace. When you embody peace, something remarkable happens. You become what psychologists call an emotional contagion, but instead of spreading stress or negativity, you radiate calm. That difficult coworker who always seems confrontational, they might find themselves speaking more softly around you. That anxious friend who constantly vents their worries, they might discover they feel more centered after spending time in your presence. This isn't magic, it's the natural result of embodying your morning intention. The fourth powerful morning declaration: I choose to be a source of peace and healing in the world today. When you make this declaration each morning, you're not just setting an intention, you're aligning yourself with what Buddhists call bodhicitta, the awakened heart that seeks the well-being of all beings. The Dalai Lama teaches, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. But here's the beautiful paradox. When we focus on being a source of peace for others, we naturally cultivate that peace within ourselves. When we radiate healing, we heal. When we embody compassion, we receive compassion. This fourth morning declaration transforms you from a passive recipient of your day's events into an active creator of positive energy. You become not just someone moving through the world, but someone consciously contributing to the world's healing. Research in positive psychology shows that people who begin their day with pro-social intentions, intentions to help and heal others, report higher levels of life satisfaction, stronger relationships, and greater resilience in facing challenges. Part 5: The Sacred Promise, Integration and Commitment. Now, let me share with you the fifth and most powerful morning declaration, one that ties together everything we've explored. There's a beautiful tradition in Tibetan Buddhism called Lojong, mind training. Each morning, practitioners make what's called a sacred promise, not to others, but to themselves and to life itself. The fifth powerful morning declaration: I promise to treat this day as a gift and to live it with awakened presence. This final declaration is different from the others. It's not just an affirmation, it's a commitment, a sacred contract with your highest self. When you promise to treat each day as a gift, you shift from entitlement to gratitude, from complaint to appreciation, from taking life for granted to recognizing its preciousness. When you promise to live with awakened presence, you commit to showing up fully, not scrolling through life half-conscious, not sleepwalking through precious moments, but truly inhabiting your experience. The Buddha's last words, according to tradition, were, "All conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with awareness." This impermanence isn't cause for despair, it's the very reason each day is sacred, each breath is precious, each moment is irreplaceable. Putting it all together, your sacred morning ritual. Let me show you how to integrate these 5 powerful declarations into a simple but transformative morning practice. Step 1. The awakening pause, 2 minutes, before reaching for your phone, before your feet touch the floor, take 5 deep breaths. Feel your body waking up. Notice the miracle of consciousness returning. Step 2. The 5 declarations, 3 minutes. Sit up, place your hand on your heart, and speak each declaration with intention. 1. I am here, I am present, I am enough. 2. My peace comes from within, and I choose how I respond. 3. I have infinite wisdom, compassion, and strength within me. 4. I choose to be a source of peace and healing in the world today. 5. I promise to treat this day as a gift and to live it with awakened presence. Step 3. The integration. 1 minute. Take a moment to feel these words settling into your consciousness. Imagine carrying these truths with you throughout your day. This isn't just another morning routine, this is a daily rebirth, a conscious choice to live from your highest wisdom rather than your conditioned patterns. The transformation. What changes when you practice this? Let me tell you what happens when you make this practice a non-negotiable part of your morning. Week 1. You notice you're less reactive to external stress. That anxious feeling that used to grip you first thing in the morning begins to soften. Week 2. Friends and family start commenting on your calm energy. You find yourself naturally responding rather than reacting to challenging situations. Month 1. You realize you're no longer seeking happiness out there, in achievements, purchases, or other people's approval. You've discovered an unshakable source of contentment within. Month 3. People begin gravitating toward you. Your peaceful presence becomes a gift you unconsciously offer to everyone you meet. Month 6. You look back and realize your entire relationship with life has shifted. You're no longer fighting reality, you're dancing with it. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the natural result of aligning your morning consciousness with timeless wisdom. The ripple effect, beyond personal transformation. But here's what excites me most about this practice: it doesn't stop with you. Every person who begins their day with conscious intention creates ripples that extend far beyond their individual life. Your coworker who feels more at peace around you goes home less stressed to their family. Your family members, receiving your more patient presence, carry that peace into their schools and workplaces. This is how the world heals, not through grand gestures, but through millions of individuals choosing consciousness over reactivity, peace over panic, love over fear. The Buddhist concept of Sangha, community, recognizes that individual awakening and collective healing are inseparable. When you transform your morning, you contribute to transforming our shared world. The ancient wisdom for modern times. These 5 morning declarations aren't New Age inventions, they're distillations of 2,500 years of Buddhist wisdom, tested by countless practitioners across cultures and centuries. The Buddha didn't teach these principles because they sound nice, he taught them because they work. They lead to what he called dukkha nirodha, the cessation of suffering, the discovery of unshakable peace. In our modern world of constant connectivity, endless demands, and perpetual anxiety, these ancient teachings offer something more precious than gold. They offer us a way home to ourselves. Tomorrow morning, you have a choice. You can wake up as you always have, immediately grabbing your phone, letting external circumstances dictate your internal state, starting another day on autopilot. Or you can choose something different. You can choose to begin your day as a conscious being, grounded in presence, rooted in inner peace, committed to radiating healing. These 5 declarations aren't just words, they're invitations to remember who you really are beneath all the conditioning, all the stress, all the mental noise. You are not your anxiety. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your worried thoughts about the future. You are awareness itself, vast, peaceful, infinitely compassionate consciousness having a human experience. So let me ask you directly, are you ready to transform your mornings? Are you ready to discover the peace that surpasses understanding? Are you ready to become a healing presence in a world that desperately needs more consciousness? If yes, then I invite you to make this commitment right now. For the next 30 days, I will begin each morning with these 5 powerful declarations. I will treat this practice not as another item on my to-do list, but as a sacred appointment with my highest self. If you're ready to join this community of awakening souls, please subscribe to Buddha Coha, hit that notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs these teachings. Together, we're not just changing our own lives, we're contributing to a more conscious, peaceful world. As we close, let me offer you an ancient Buddhist blessing. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you awaken to your true nature. May your presence be a blessing to all beings. Remember, every sunrise offers you a new opportunity to choose consciousness over unconsciousness, peace over panic, love over fear. Your morning practice isn't just about having a better day, it's about remembering who you truly are and letting that truth transform everything you touch. The Buddha within you is already awake. These 5 morning declarations simply help you remember. Until we meet again in the next video, may you walk in peace, speak with compassion, and live with awakened presence. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for choosing consciousness. Thank you for being a light in this world. Namaste.